I recently came across a video by this YouTube channel called Wholesome Simon, and he's basically that type of guy that just makes cinematic videos about things he's doing in his life. Like, I know the video that I watched was of him going on a road trip that he'd been planning on going with all of his friends and everything, and he turned it into like I think it was like a 30-minute video, a movie kind of video. You get an idea of what I'm talking about, and it was just one of those videos where you just watch, and his whole channel is like this, where he just chases his dreams. And you could see even in the comments, there was just a reflection of just a bunch of young people looking at this guy and just watching his video and being like, oh, like they were rooting for him, but they were also like, I wish I could do that as well. And it's just one of those things I feel like our generation is dealing with. We have so many problems. Our generation has got so many problems. I think we all know that. But just one of those things is like, especially if you hit that age of like 18 to like 20, 21, 22, where you're going to university, you hear stories from your parents. I know, not my parents. I got African parents. You didn't get all of that. But in the West, when you hear a lot from like Western parents of like, oh, college was like the best time of my life and all of that. College that they went to like 20 years ago. Even just people that say, oh, I went to college and I did all these little things and everything. And you sort of realize that I'm not really getting that experience, and it's a battle. It is a battle for a lot of us, especially those of us that are on self-improvement, because it's kind of like, what do I pick? Do I pick like the short-term fun, or do I pick the long-term, plan where I really like change my life and I have long-term satisfaction, let's say, life satisfaction. And logically, it's not really a debate. It's kind of like, oh, of course I'm going to pick the long-term option, right? And I think that's why a lot of us are on self-improvement. And it also becomes a no-brainer when you're someone that, your life, it's boring, right? You don't really have much going for you. Maybe you've never had a girlfriend. You don't really go out that much. You don't have that group of friends that you wish you could have. It's a no-brainer that, let me just work on fixing my life so I can actually like build a life that I'm happy with. And when I'm like on my deathbed, I can look back and be like, oh, I had an amazing life and I built such a fantastic structure, a fantastic social structure around me, and I had like quite a fruitful life. And that's what we're sort of all aiming for. But you can't beat that. You can't get past that feeling that you get every so often of like, I'm young, like these are kind of supposed to be the best years of my life. They don't feel like it, right? And it's even worse. It's made even worse when, if you're going through like a rough patch and you're not really doing those good habits you're supposed to be doing to set yourself up for the future. Then it's like, well, I'm not having any fun in the short term, but I'm not necessarily doing all the things I should be doing to set myself up well for the long term, and that is just miserable. And I've dealt with that a lot. And I guess the only way you can deal with that is you keep pushing to sort of do those good habits and set yourself up for the long term. But going back to like the topic of the video, there is still this longing of like, I should be doing more like right now. Like life should be more than this. And if you decide that like I do actually want to start doing some things, because they're not mutually exclusive. They're not mutually exclusive. Like you can actually set yourself up well for the future and still have time to do like fun things in your daily life, like right now in the short term. It doesn't have to be like all miserable. But I guess the hard thing for us is that obviously if you're young, you're not really gonna have cash flows, that are conducive to having, this exciting lifestyle. You can just get up and go on a road trip with your friends. But you can create experiences like that. And I guess the bigger issue, other than the finances, is the second half of the equation. It's having people to do things with, right? And I think that is like the biggest issue our generation is facing. We're just so lonely. We're sitting back at home doing nothing. We're just kind of in our own world. We're chronically online. We watch things online, and we live vicariously through other people, and that is a problem. That's a massive problem. And I guess the first step is just realizing that you partake in it. And it's kind of pathetic, like when you sit, I had this over the course of like last year and like early this year, where I just realized I'm like, I'm watching all these, you watch all these male influencers, like the red pill influencers and all of that, and you just sort of realize that like I'm living vicariously through these people. Or when you find yourself like screaming at a screen because someone, just watching like political content or just people arguing about dumb stuff, right? I mean, it's not dumb because obviously, it's taken over the culture, but it's still dumb because it doesn't really have a direct impact on your life, and yet you spend so many hours watching content, thinking about it, arguing with yourself about it, and you sort of look back. Sometimes you just need to sit down, like, catch yourself in the middle of it, and be like, "This is kind of pathetic." Right? This is actually kind of pathetic. Like, you're getting angry at, and you know what I'm talking about. You know, you'll be watching videos of like people reacting to people that you don't like, and you're getting angry at that. Or if you're watching sports and you're arguing about, oh, who's better or whatever it is, you know it's stupid. It's waste. It doesn't change your life at all. You're talking about other people. You're watching other people going on adventures and having fun, and you're sort of like you're getting these feelings. These endorphins are coming through you, where it's like, oh, like you watch like someone you like. You know, you watch someone like a vlog or whatever, and you're like, oh, this is like that's exciting. But you're not on it. You're not doing it. They're doing it. It's not you, right? And you sort of need to step back and be like, huh, I am living vicariously through these people, and it's quite pathetic. And you know, that's one thing you need to realize. That's like the first step. Then the second step, as I said, you quickly realize that like the hard part is like finding the people that you can do it with. And I guess that's where I've made countless videos about, you know, building yourself a brotherhood, building your close group of friends, and you can go watch that. You'll find it very easily on my channel. But yeah, you need to actually like take steps to go and like find friends. Like that's the first. That's after realizing that, you know, you're living vicariously through other people and you're not really living life. The next step is finding people to do it with, and that is the hardest step. Like I feel like once you've got your group, and I've always felt like this. Like I remember when I was young, I'd be like, oh, I don't want to be rich and lonely. You know those things. It's like, oh, like, well, you act as if you're gonna have the choice to be rich, but like, I was like, oh, I don't want to be rich and lonely. Like, I'd much rather be like poor and have friends. Or if I am rich, I wanna be rich with friends, because friends like just they make life. Like if you have that close group of friends, like if you're with your boys, you could make anything fun. Like I think back to high school where, you know, there wouldn't be like a football, so we take like a water bottle, an empty water bottle, and we play football with it. You know, kick it around and everything, and it's like, you can have fun with anything, bro. You really can. Like as long as you have those people, and I think that's the most important thing that you can probably take away from this video, is that. But if you like sort that out, I feel like if you sort that out, everything kind of falls into place in terms of like, you know, having a bit more of like a meaningful life that you're living every day. But the other thing I wanted to speak about in this video was that, like, stop letting life pass you by. Don't just sit down and, you know, watch videos and watch other people living the life you wish you were living. Like, go out there and like try something, you know, go do something. It might not be to the extent that you want it to be, but, you know, go create some experiences. Stop sitting at home every day, you know, being miserable. And, you know, this advice also like pertains to me. Like I also do need to take my own advice, and I have done so in the past before, but, you know, as time passes by, you kind of just let it, I don't know, you kind of fall into your old ways, I guess. Like you're not really like being proactive, and that's something like you should do. Stop letting life pass you by. Like, you're only going to be this young now. Like right now you're the youngest you're ever going to be, right? And yeah, just stop letting life pass you by. Be more proactive and go out there and get after it, right? And like I said, if you want like practical steps, I've got videos on like practical steps on how to build that friend group, but that's like the first thing you should do. And then once you have that, it's sort of like find things to do with your friends basically. But yeah, make sure you subscribe to join the self-improvement brotherhood, and I do have a Discord if you want to, you know, find like-minded men that you want to that are on self-improvement and you want to like make friends like that. I've got a Discord. Make sure you join it, you join the server, and until next time, see you boys.